Hello, everyone,
Very nice. Hello, guys.
and happy New Year's Eve to everyone out
Yeah,
there.
we are live. Hello, everybody. Nice to see you.
Dean, are you there? There you are.
What's
You are
going
there.
down? The Bills just scored, so I was screaming.
And the Giants, 7-7.
Hello,
Nice.
Giants.
Very good.
All right. It's football Sunday.
I don't know. The Bills look like they're going to the Super Bowl. What's going on there all of a sudden? I don't know.
Buffalo is going to the Super Bowl. I hope so.
Intercept.
If they keep
I don't
this
watch the
rhythm
NFL,
going,
so I don't really know.
if they keep this rhythm going, they got a shot. They do.
Mm.
Who knows? I hope Miami gets killed today.
Hello, Kelly. Hello,
Hi,
Edwin.
Kelly. Hi, Mr. Edwin Jimenez. How are you?
How about Edwin's show? Edwin was just saying Don Fanucci. You know what, Edwin? Don Fanucci's a bad guy.
What was he saying about Don Fanucci?
Wait, he goes, blessings, Don Fanucci. Give Don Fanucci a drink. I'll give Don Fanucci a Sicilian necktie. Okay?
Yeah. So, Edwin, please stay for this one. This is an important one.
Oh. Hi, Cinnamon Girl. Hi, Stephen Morinello. Chris Toro, of course. Maureen. Kelly. Let's see if I missed anyone
Lori
else here.
Love. Where have you been, Lori Love?
I saw Osada. Yep.
Lori?
Let's see. I think I hit everybody.
Pretty Mo.
Yeah.
Monita.
Maureen. Yep. So, yeah, John Fanucci is not a hero. Let's put it that way. He's not someone that you want to buy a drink for, or an espresso. You don't even want to buy him that. But we're going to talk about Don Fanucci a little bit.
You know, my father used to do me ALV real fast. Real fast. Yep. My father used to go like this. Anytime I owed him some cash or anything, he'd go like this. That's why I can't stand that guy so much. But my father would go, if I put the money or the envelope or anything on the table, my father would go like this with his hat. He'd take his hat off and he'd put it on the money and he'd look at me.
Just like Don Fanucci.
Yeah, just like he did. He goes, I know trust. He goes, let me see. Oh, go ahead. Good old days. The good old days.
Yes. So this scene that we're going to talk about today takes place in the 1920s in Brooklyn, I guess, or is it the Bronx? I think it's Brooklyn because it's Brooklyn.
Hell's Kitchen. Yeah.
Yes. And it opens up. The scene opens up with Fredo being sick. Fredo is a baby, and Fredo is sick, and I'm going to ask you guys, what do you think they're doing to her? Like doing to him? There's Carmela is there, Carmela Coleone, which is Vito's the mother, and then there's another woman there, and they're putting something on his chest with a glass.
Yes,
because they say he has pneumonia. No, what is that?
Okay, it's an old. My Goomba's mother used to do this to Tindu all the time, and it was every Saturday, the weekend. She would call it. Her and her sister call it an old Sicilian candle therapy.
Oh.
You use it for being sick and you use it for pain.
Okay.
And therapy. Now, they'll light the candles on your problem spots on your, they lay me out and they'd get the candles and the glasses.
Mm-hmm.
They put the candles wherever you needed them, or they light the candles and they put the cup over it.
Oh, so it's like
the candle would suck all the air out. And
so it's like cup therapy. It's like the original cup therapy.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And it would bring out evil spirits. It'd bring out pain. It would bring out, especially if you had pain in your back or colds on the chest, on the back, if that's any help.
No, that's great. I never thought about that because you hear about that now. You hear about people going for cup therapy.
Yes. Mrs.
Stiggs, a friend of ours went for that.
Right. God rest her soul. Mrs. Encina.
So
Sicilian lady.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So that's the original version of that. That's cool. All right, that's cool.
I've had the treatment.
So let me ask you something about this season. What do you think the purpose of this scene is? Do you think this is an indication of why Fredo is a little off because of what he experienced as a child and sick?
Good observation.
I don't know. No, I don't know. That's a good question. Good. They say as a baby, if you get pneumonia, it does mess some shit up in you. Sometimes. Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, that's just a thought that jumped into my head when I was watching it.
Sounds legit.
And I think the other thing here is it's also showing you Vito. Like Vito's crying. Vito's crying seeing his son suffering. And it shows you the emotional side of Vito that, we've talked about this before, how he's not as ruthless as Michael. He's like this superhuman person, but you see him as a loving father. He's really concerned about his child here. He's drying his eyes because he sees the baby crying. So I think that's part of it too. Hey, just chilling. Paul C, James Simpson. Welcome, guys.
I don't know, just chilling. I don't know about all that crazy shit, but that's what happens when you mess with your own people. When you start burning and ruining your own people, you ain't got to be crazy for that. You just got to be smart like he was. That's all. Go ahead.
Right. All right. So then the next scene is Michael. Is Vito. Vito is driving and is in a truck, and Don Fanucci jumps onto the truck and sits there and starts speaking to him in Italian. Says, "Drive, vai, go, vai. Keep driving while I talk to you." And he basically hits him up and is extorting money from him, saying, "You are doing business in my neighborhood. You're stealing dresses. You're stealing goods. You don't think you're treating me with disrespect. You don't think to give me anything. You don't think to come by and give my daughter a dress. You don't do any of this stuff." So he's putting the bite on Vito and Clemenza and Tessio, which is a three-way partnership at this point. It's the three of them together just doing their thing, making money. And he asks for $600 from them, $600 as the, I don't know what you want to call it, as the
street tax
tribute, right?
Street
tribute.
Tax tribute.
Yeah, tax, tribute, same thing, right? So then, and he takes, and then you see him taking, and this is an interesting point too. What Fanucci says, he says, and if I'm wrong about how much you make, I'll take a little less. Now, this goes back to him projecting this type of, I'm the feudal lord around here, and I'm going to give justice out. So if I'm saying $600, if it's too much, I'll take less because I'm a reasonable person. You know what I mean? And this is how he does things. And he has the whole neighborhood actually believing that he has a lot more power than he actually has. And Vito finds that out eventually, but it's a good example of what was going on with the Italian immigrants at that time. Certain people were taking advantage of their own, and Fanucci is the perfect example of that. He's just using his position to take money from them, and trying to set up what was in the old country, trying to set up the mafia as it was in the old country, where people come to him and he's the ruler, and he's imposing a tax on people and such like that. So I think that's the crucial part of Fanucci's role here. But the key is he's not what he says he is.
He's not what he says he is, but he can get it over because the mafia was born on distrust of government, distrust of police. So in Sicily, they were extorted because they had no voice. And these guys were the liaison or the blocker or whatever you want to call it, whatever it was between the law and the citizen. And it brought it over to here, and a lot of those people were illegal. They weren't supposed to be there. And they still brought over that inside their soul distrust of anybody in the government. So he capitalized on that and made it look like he had these police and he had the power. When
and that's a good point.
He really didn't.
That's a good point. He says the police will come to your house and ruin your family. Those are his exact words. Now, that is a direct reference to Back to Sicily, because the police in America aren't going to come and ruin your family.
Exactly. Remember, these people weren't comfortable here yet. They were not comfortable here yet. And he's a rat. He's basically a boss and a rat at the same time. The police are going to come to your house? No. Look, there was card games and everything in the areas, and yes, $50, $100, the cops don't come and bother you.
Right.
But it wasn't going to be the opposite. It wasn't going to typically be the opposite in that aspect of organized crime and the mafia. And the drug game is a different story.
Yeah. Right. The cops weren't going to be assassins for the mob. The cops weren't going to do that stuff, but he can con the people because, and bullshit the people because that's what they experienced back in Sicily.
They feared the oppression. They feared
the police. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So they were stuck. And those were stolen dresses. So that was a score that he was driving with. He had stolen dresses in the truck.
Right.
He took stolen dresses and then tried to extort the thieves.
Right. Exactly.
It's crazy.
Yep. So let's switch to the next scene. The next scene is in Vito's apartment, where Vito is breaking the news to Tessio and Clemenza about his encounter with Fanucci. And hold on.
A beautiful scene.
It is. I mean, and it's such a classic area. Like it brings back so many memories of what the people lived like in that environment there.
Wonderful.
Let me see here. Here we go.
Oh, that's incredible. That is when he's looking at him like, you're out of your mind.
Yeah. This is when Vito says, what? Why are we paying this guy? We're doing, it's our labor. Why are we paying him? Why would we pay him?
His look was the best in that scene. Oh my
God. And if you look at first of all, just let's examine the background here. He's seated at the table. He's got the cloth napkin in his shirt to cover his shirt. He's sitting down for a Sunday pasta. He's got a bowl of pasta in front of him. He's got homemade wine to the left of him.
I mean, look at that.
It's He's got the pinky ring over there.
I think I need to frame that scene. I mean, it's an incredible scene.
That would be a good one to hang on the wall, right?
It's great. Oh. Wow. I got a project to do now. That's amazing.
But anyway, so Vito's pleading his case and saying, why are we going to pay this guy? We have guns. He has guns. What's the thing? Now, Clemenza's response to that is that Fanucci is collecting or is the agent of someone by the name of Maranzano. Now, Maranzano is a direct reference to, in real life, no, they call him to Maranzano in real life. They call him Maranzano or something. Maranzalo Maranzalo, they call him. Yeah. But it's a direct reference to Maranzano, who was the capo di capo. He was the guy that consolidated the mob at that time in America. He's the guy that envisioned the five families. So what Fanucci is doing is Fanucci is pretending, or putting out an image that he works for him, but he really doesn't. He doesn't. And so Vito says, listen, I'm going to take care of this. You give me $50 a piece and we'll settle this. And they're like, how are you going to do this? How are you going to do this? He wants 600. How's he going to do this?
Now,
go ahead.
Do you have the picture of the three of them meeting in the middle of the street or no?
Oh, no, I don't.
Okay.
When they meet on the street and he gives them the $50, you mean?
Yeah. So that's who? That's Clemenza?
It's Clemenza, Tessio, and Vito.
And Vito. Okay. Did you see the part? It might have been a cut scene where Clemenza goes up to a peddler and collects.
Oh yes. Yep. Oh yes. I saw that. Yes.
You saw that.
That's in there.
And then he brings the money to Vito in the middle of the street. Now I don't know if that is a cut scene or an actual. I don't know if that's an actual scene. Which that part I kind of don't like because I'm not a fan of the extortion part. That bothers me greatly, right? Now, if Clemenza is extorting, or if he's in business with this individual, or if there's a gambling debt, I never have a problem with somebody collecting on a gambling debt or a loan shark debt. The extortion part is what bothers me.
Yeah, you don't know that from the scene.
You don't know it.
You don't make it. Yeah, you don't know that.
They don't show. Yeah.
Hold on a second. Let me see if I can.
So you kind of wonder: is he as ruthless as Fanucci? Not even nearly as ruthless. But
let me try to. Yeah,
Clemenza. Well, he was a little tough. Remember, robbed the rug and everything. Yeah, he was a little tough. Yeah.
I think Clemenza could be. Honestly, I think Clemenza could have at that particular time. I think Clemenza could have been doing that. I don't know, but you make a good point.
Yeah. Thank you, Cosboy.
Let me see if I can.
Hello, Silo. Hello, Simpson.
No, I can't. I thought I could find it. I don't know. I can't. Really
it's a hard one to find. Yeah. Hello, Sven.
All right, here. Let's see.
But that's where they are.
Here we go. Hold on.
Beautiful, beautiful. You got it. Okay, so that's it.
Yeah. So this is when they give him his money, and Tessio says, "Buon fortuno." Here, good luck to you. Good luck with this, because he doesn't think he's going to do it. He doesn't think he's going to make it happen. But
exactly.
But the key thing here is that Vito doesn't tell them what he's going to do. Vito doesn't say, "I'm going to kill Fanucci." All he says is that, "Give me your $50. I'll take care of this, and then you owe me a favor." So this is Vito solidifying himself as the pinnacle. This is right now they're even. Right now they're the three of them. Right, by Vito doing this, it makes him the Don. It makes him the leader of the entire thing.
At that point. Yeah, he shows his Corleones at that point. Absolutely. Yeah. All right, very nice.
Tito, you still there? What's going on? Okay. I couldn't see you in the background. I looked like you were right there. Okay, so now this is an interesting. This is I'm going to digress for a second. The whole thing with Maranzano. I think the whole reference to Maranzano in real life and how Luciano has Maranzano killed. It really kind of beckons to whether Vito is really kind of like a Luciano. He's kind of like he's got parts of Luciano in him, Vito. Because at this point you assume if this is going on, he still has to deal with Maranzano. They don't show you any of that stuff. They don't show you that stuff in the movie. But you figure if he takes out Fanucci, he's going to have to deal with the Maranzano character, right? Because he's still there. Whether Fanucci had the backing or not, he's still there. And then he's setting up a structure of the five families that's going to exist. So I'm just wondering if that is like a direct link, that whole scene to saying that he's kind of like Luciano. I don't know. I just a thought that came through my mind. And this is an interesting historical fact that Maranzano in real life, he was actually sent to America by the Sicilian mob to set things up here and to take control of what was in existence. And I never knew that, but I read about that the other day, which I thought was very interesting. That Maranzano wasn't just an immigrant that came here and had to survive. He was sent here specifically to do that, to take over the organized crime that was established here in America. So interesting history there behind that.
There's one more thing before. Can you hear me good now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Mm-hmm.
There's one more thing before he does leave with the money. So you have a great point when you say he's taking care of this at a level that they have no idea about. So they respect that level when he executes, or one other aspect that is missed, that really makes Vito that honorable man, is that, and they could have thought this because they're criminals also. He didn't take the full money off of them.
Correct.
Vito could have scammed them and took all the 600 and then went and offered 100 to Fanucci. That's missed. And that is huge. Yes. Because when he left, he could have said to them, you know what he could have done to us? And you know what a really trashy criminal would have done? Is take our money, go to Fanucci, give him 100 and pocket the 5.
No, you're right.
That's lost. That really helps him become, like you just said, that the Don.
Yeah. You're. I think we lost your microphone a little bit there because we're hearing that muffled sound again. But yeah, no, but I heard you exactly, and it's a great point. It's absolutely true. He could have taken the $600. He should have said, "Just give me the $600. I'm gonna take care of this from now on." But no, he didn't. And I guess he kept the 50. He didn't give the 50 back though. He didn't give them back their 50s. He kept the 50s. I guess that was his fee for doing this. That that was it was a reasonable fee for him doing that. All right. All right, so the next scene is he actually meets with Fanucci, and let me see. I have a picture of this I wanted to share. Somewhere in here I have a picture. I don't know what the hell happened to it. Hold on here. There it is. There's the man.
Yep.
There's Edwin's hero right there.
Too much.
And he's got his little espresso, and he's stirring his little espresso. And there's the hat, Thindo. There's the hat over the money. The fedora over the money.
White fedora.
And he says, "It looks like there's only $100 under my hat."
Mm.
And then he looks and he goes, "I was right. There's only $100 under my hat." Let me say hello to Silo. How you doing, Silo? How you doing, Primo? How you doing, Mikey? Thank you guys for joining. Gianni's here. I missed him before. Thank you for joining, Gianni. So we got a bunch of cool guys hanging out. Continuing the discussion here. I don't know if we lost Stiggs altogether here or not. I don't know. He's muted, but I don't know if he's just trying to fix his microphone. Maybe that's what he's trying to do.
Okay, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, better? Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Am I good?
You're good. Yep, very good.
No, I have no mic, huh?
No, you sound good now.
Interesting.
Yeah. Now there's a deleted scene concerning Fanucci where he's being roughed up by neighborhood kids.
Yeah, but I can't hear them. Something happened to my computer.
You can't hear us?
I can't hear you guys, just so you do know. Give me a minute here.
If you can't hear us, then maybe you drop out and come back in.
Me, but I can't hear you.
You can't.
Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me yet.
I can't hear you. I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Yes. Yes.
All right. Yeah. I must have lost
But we can't hear you.
Here. Something went out here. Got a problem.
But I mean, you can't hear us. So what are we going to do here? Drop out? I'm going to press Stiggs, drop, and come back in.
Oh, I know why. Okay. Here we go. Give me 1 second, guys. All right. Much better. Much better. You can hear me now. Good, right?
I can hear you. Can you hear us?
I can hear you perfectly. Yeah, my default went back. It changed.
Okay, cool.
Let me see if my camera works because my TV went out. I must have lost power of some kind. So I don't know what happened here, but we should be good now.
Yeah, no, your camera's working.
Yep. Awesome. Okay. All
right. Now, what was I saying? Oh, so he's meeting with Fanucci. He gives him, and this is an interesting part here too, because instead of, what does Coleone say? He says, I'm a little short. I'm a little short this month. I'm not employed. Do me this favor. Do me this favor. So, and now what he's basically doing here is testing what he saw. He saw the deleted scene, the character, which they didn't show in the movie. There's a deleted scene where Vito finds him getting roughed up by neighborhood kids, and nothing happens to the kids. Like they just they knock him around. So that indicates to Vito that he doesn't have the backing of the mob. He doesn't have Maranzano's backing. So what he does is he's waiting to see what Fanucci's going to say. What's Fanucci's response? Whatever Fanucci's response is going to tell him whether he's real or if he really has muscle or if he doesn't. Yeah. Now, Fanucci shows his hand here because he knows he can't do anything. He doesn't have any muscle. So he just says, oh, you have balls. I have work for you. So he's basically trying to cover up that he can't do anything to enforce the $600 by saying, oh, yeah, I'll take you under my wing and I'll get you work. So Fanucci is like the consummate con artist. He's doing everything he can to create this image of himself, but he can't back it up with anything in reality. And Vito sees that clearly now, which leads us into the next scene, which is the murder scene. And so Fanucci goes out into the streets, and there's a feast going on there. Now, this is interesting. Now, it says, if you watch the feast scene, it says the Feast of San Rocco.
Yeah, I saw that.
Right now, this is odd to me because the Feast of San Rocco takes place in August. Everybody's wearing winter coats and hats, like everybody's like all bundled up in the scene, right? It doesn't jive. It doesn't. I don't know what that's about. I don't know why that happened or why they did it that way.
Yeah, they didn't really imitate life 100%. They went, hypotheticals
but the feast itself was very accurately created in terms of an Italian feast. I mean, it's a classic Italian feast.
It was great. Yes.
With the saint coming out and everybody putting the money on the saint and so on. And now there's a point when he leaves the cafe, where Fanucci leaves the cafe. The first scene you see is Fanucci going to a vendor and picking up an orange. And what did we say about oranges?
Yeah, I was thinking about Dindo when I saw that.
Yeah.
When I saw it.
It's an indication that murder is coming, right? And that's exactly what happens.
First thing I thought of when I saw that is Dindo and the oranges.
Yep. And then, and as he's going through the feast, everybody knows him. Everybody's saying hello to him and greeting him, and he thinks he's acting like the Pope with his hand like this. He's like, oh, yeah. And he stops at a puppet show, and there's a puppet show with the puppets battling, puppet knights battling, and he makes a comment. He says, "This is too violent for me. I need to go." And then he makes his way back to his place of residence, which is a building like everybody else's. He doesn't live in a giant house. He lives in a tenement house like anybody else. Meanwhile, Vito's walking from building to building, following him back to his residence. So that when he gets there, Vito's already there waiting for him. And there's that classic scene with Vito with the gun wrapped in the towel.
Yeah.
Which I really I should be able to find. I don't know why I couldn't find it. That should be a prominent one.
It's so iconic.
Yeah.
It's so iconic. It really is.
Let me see if I can find it real quick.
I'm gonna have it on my avatar.
You have that? Yeah.
Yeah, I used to have it as an avatar.
Yeah, you used to have that.
Let me check and see if I still have it.
He did have it, yeah.
Here we go.
Got it?
Yeah, I got it. There we go. All right, let's see. Now, let me get rid of this. Drop out of that. And present. Here we go. I got a black and white version, which is kind of cool.
You do?
Yeah. There we go.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Now, the interesting thing about this is not only is the towel wrapped to prevent sound, it's also done exactly at the same time as the fireworks go off in the feast, so that nobody's going to hear anything. If anybody hears something, they're just going to think it's the fireworks going off as well.
Yeah. So he planned it beautifully.
Yeah, I mean, it was like you couldn't, and then it's a perfect escape route. Everybody's out of the building except him and Fanucci, because everybody's at the feast. In the 1920s, everybody's going to be at a feast. Nobody's going to be sitting in their house. Everybody's going to be out there because there's nothing else to do. Right? Nobody's going to be watching. There's no TV. There's very few people had radios. You're going to be out there experiencing the feast. So it's a perfect setup to kill him. And then he escapes back the way he came, back up through the top of the roof, and he disposes of the gun by smashing it into pieces and putting it into different chimneys, so that it's impossible to find.
What a breakdown of it. Oh. All right. You often wonder, when he flicked the light bulb and everything. I mean,
yeah, when he's clicking the light bulb. And that's also a good indication of what it was like in those tenement houses. It's the middle of the day and it's pitch black. It's pitch black in the stairwell. Without that light on all the time, you couldn't see anything.
All the time. Now you wonder if Vito, when you go from dark to light and you can't focus right, like the illusion is just enough that his eyes are gonna get used to the dark. And then click it on, and then he's just going to be like in a fog. You won't be able to see that good.
No, that's a good point.
There's a lot to analyze in these scenes.
Mm-hmm. And then all right, so he kills Fanucci, and then he returns to his family. His family is sitting on the step. The entire family is sitting on the steps, and somebody's playing the mandolin, and singing the Godfather theme while they're sitting there. One of the people there is just playing that song. And,
playing the theme. Yeah.
And this is another thing I've noticed, and I just wanted to bring this. It's just my personal opinion. The actress that played his wife here, her name is Francesca Di Sapio. She was an Italian actress from Sicily, and American trained. So she was fluent in both.
Okay.
And but she was a very beautiful woman, and I never noticed that until I went back and saw the scene. And I said, this woman is very beautiful. I never noticed that before, because she's got like the 1920s like hair hat that's there and everything, and she's covered up, so you really don't really see that.
I never really looked. Quite honestly, I never really looked that deep.
Hold on a second here. And this is the only picture I could find of her in here. Let's see here.
Yeah, I never looked that deep. Okay. Wow.
But I went into one of those IMD network. What do you call that?
IMBD.
IMDb, yeah. And I tried to look for, and I saw some pictures of her. Normal pictures of her, and she was a very beautiful woman.
Yeah, nice looking girl. That's interesting. Look at her, huh? Simple but beautiful.
Simple but the beauty, the simple beauty of the Italian immigrant. That's what she represents there.
Really, it's true. Yep. Yeah. Really, natural beauty right there. Wow. Yeah. Interesting. Huh. Nice. Very nice.
So, I haven't been really looking at the chat. I'm sorry, my computer's a little wacky today. I'm just
me too. My TV
it's like moving. I don't know what's going on here with my screen here. Silas says, God from Fanucci was that he was way overconfident and nobody would take a pop at him. That's what Silas says. Yeah, I think he was definitely overconfident, without a doubt.
Yeah,
there's no question about it.
He was overconfident because he had them bamboozled.
Yeah. Yep.
The residents, like I said, a lot of them are non-legal. He's got the power over them. They fear authority. So.
Yep. And Gianni says he's an example of the old school padrone, where they went wrong via greed. And the way they took advantage of their own countrymen. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next scene is a brief scene, and then we'll kind of end, because this is we could go into another whole scene as well, but I'm not going to do that. There's actually two additional 1920 scenes. The one we all know about when it goes back to Sicily. There's also another one in New York City, which we can do next time. But there's a scene. So at this point, it switches back to present day, and Michael's returning to Nevada, returning to the home in Nevada on Lake Tahoe, and he's walking through the snow, and he sees the car that was bought for his for his son and everything, and then he makes his way in, and he's in the house, and he looks, and he's looking around, and the house is kind of quiet. There's a fire burning. It's all silent in the house, and he walks into a room, and he sees Kay. Kay is there sewing, just silently, sewing something together, and he sees her. He doesn't acknowledge her. He doesn't even make sure she doesn't see him, basically, and he backs away, and then he goes to see his mother. And I think this is an important scene because it shows you the complexity of Michael and what he's going through. We already know he's very ruthless. He's much more ruthless than Vito ever was. But this whole experience, because remember, he's just coming off of finding out that Fredo betrayed him, and he's coming back and he finds out that what he thinks is a miscarriage. He loses a child. So he's at a very vulnerable point. So he goes to speak with his mother, and she kind of lives in a house on the estate, on her own, a little cottage on the estate. So he goes into her cottage, and she's sitting by the fire, and he sits down with her, and he asks her about Dad, or about Pop. What did Pop? Pop was always strong for the family. I'm trying to be strong for the family. But here's my question to you is, by being strong for the family, can you lose your family? And I think that's a very telling question there, because he feels it slipping away. He feels the family being what Vito was able to do perfectly. Vito was able to balance a family that loved him and that he could spend time with, and also a criminal empire that he was responsible for. He was able to balance that perfectly. Michael seems all on the criminal empire side at this point. He feels that he's losing the family, and I think he is. And we see that as we get farther into the story, that he is losing things. Now, why he's losing things is another question, that's up for opinion. But in her response, his mother's response to him is, you can never lose your family. You can never lose your family. And then his response to her is, well, times are changing. So it's a very telling time in the storyline in Michael, the character's development, because he has to choose, I guess. Is he going to continue to build the criminal empire that he has, or is he going to pivot and deal with what Kay wants from him? And it's a tearing part for the character at this point. So I don't know. What do you think about that? What do you think, Michael? What was going through Michael's head at that time? Is that a fair, in your opinion, of what was going through? Why he would ask his mother that question?
Daniel, what do you think, man? That's a tough one.
It's what every street guy goes through in a time of despair, in a time of war. You got to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
You just found out you can't trust family. You just found out everything's, So,
yeah. Your brother just tried to have you killed. Basically, your brother whether he tried specifically to have you killed, he set you up to be killed. Your brother set you up to be killed.
And without your father, the first person you're going to go to is your mother.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to just tell you blood's thicker than water. The woman ain't going to say anything out of the ordinary.
Right.
So they're going to keep the family together no matter what it takes. And that's what she was doing.
Mm-hmm.
She came from a time that was before his with his father.
Right.
There was no problems like he was having.
Right.
You can't compare the two, Don Vito's wife and Kate.
Right. Right.
I mean, really, she got excited for a pair. This one, she wants two different, jungles there. So, and like he said, he got a taste of the world is changing.
Yep.
And look at what happened. All the turncoats coming up and all that. The world was changing for the worst in that world.
Yes.
Mob world.
You had three different.
You had rats coming in big time. You had the audio. You had this. You had, and then it was. You didn't see it in the movie, but you could tell. You could tell.
Yeah. So you had You had two generations in the same culture in the room, and then you had another person, Kay, in another room in his generation in another culture. Yes. So he's talking to his mom, who is that behind the scenes, never heard from her. She never opened her mouth. She never did anything except raise kids and whatever she did, and never heard anything. So she cannot relate to the changing of the culture because she's not on the street. She doesn't know it.
Yeah.
He has in his lap the culture, but the generational change, which led to greed. So remember, his father had all these guys that were loyal to him, and for the obvious reasons that we spoke about at the beginning of this scene, for obvious reasons, now the bottom line is they got Americanized.
Right.
The next generation was upon us. Greed has picked up, and that's where he loses the part. So she's a little stuck in her times, like many old women are, and of that time, they're kind of stuck in that way. A lot of them don't change, and they're stuck in that way, and they bring that mentality to their grave, basically.
Yes. You got to remember too, when you're like that and you're in that predicament, you're not actually going to look at Kay, your wife. You're going to go to your mother, where you know the answers are going to be coming. You know she's going to tell you the right thing.
Yeah.
There's not going to be any bamboozling there.
No.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's clear that what Stig said. She's an outlier. She's a part of the family by marriage, but she's an outlier. She doesn't understand the culture.
Don't understand.
She doesn't, and she has her own ideas of what she wants to change Michael to be.
Well, that's why it was useless for him to go talk to his wife. He was going to get the wrong answers and what he didn't want to hear. You go to your mother, you know you're going to hear the truth.
Right.
She's going to mean it. She's not going to redirect you. She's going to tell you.
My God.
What you're asking her.
Yep.
That was his biggest mistake. That was his biggest flaw in judgment, marrying that girl.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
100%. Through the whole movie, the whole series, that was his biggest flaw.
Right. Yeah. I think you're right.
Now, could you chalk that up to... This is a good one. Now, could you chalk that up, and we all say it, interracial,
well,
other marriages?
Yeah, they do. That's a good point.
Intercultural marriages.
You know where it came from? Yeah. Guess where it came from, Dean?
Intercultural marriages. Now, you expected Kay to understand that world?
I mean, Kay wasn't even Catholic. She wasn't even Catholic.
She didn't understand none of it.
Yeah, yeah.
So to throw that glitch in the movie was perfect. Perfect. That wife that doesn't understand.
Right.
All that. And then look what got killed in Sicily on him. That was the perfect wife to him.
Yeah. Right.
I remember Michael was introduced to an outside world, an educated world, almost a liberal mindset.
Yeah, I guess for that time period, yes.
That time period, exactly. Because where else would he meet someone outside the culture other than going off to school, military, wherever it is? somewhere else in the world outside the culture is where he went. And that's where a lot of people pick up those outside the culture girlfriends, boyfriends, wives, husbands, whatever it might be. It's because they go outside of our, so to speak, neighborhood.
Yeah. Look, I mean, he went to an Ivy League school too. He went to an Ivy League school, all Protestants, at that time, all Protestants. Right. He's there only because of Vito's influence to get him in, right. You know? So, because Vito wanted him to be better, so to speak, better in the sense that he wanted him to be more legitimate. He wanted him to be, and that's what he's exposed to. Right. And then he goes to the war, he goes into the war and,
everything.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, and you're right. That's his mistake. Look, because I didn't go to an Ivy League school, but I was exposed to a very large non-Italian population when I went to law school, when I went to college and law school. I mean, the difference was it was a Catholic. It was a Catholic though. It was but they were Catholics mostly because it was a Catholic schools I went through. So, but when it came to me looking for someone to marry, I married someone from the neighborhood. I came back and chose someone from the neighborhood, someone who knew my culture, that's important to me. That was important to me. So absolutely. I think that's his mistake. I agree with you.
But when Vito says to Michael, I never wanted this for you, Kay is exactly what Vito wanted for Michael. American girl, white picket fence, get out of this mess, come and visit on Sundays for macaroni. That's all he wanted for Michael.
Well, you guys got to remember, I mean, if you're a street guy, if you're one of them guys, you marry a woman, the only way you're going to be safe, the only way they're going to get it is if you marry a woman whose father was the same thing you were in the streets. Okay. What I'm saying, if you don't understand this, okay. If you're a street guy, if you're looking for a woman that's going to understand you, then you better marry a street guy's daughter. I mean, or get lucky enough to find a woman that's from that family of Sicilians, Italians. Ain't no other nationality going to understand where you're coming from. I don't care what you say. I've been on this earth now 59 years. Good luck.
Well,
yeah.
Good luck. And even if you do marry the Sicilians and Italians, you know, everything.
But remember, he wasn't supposed to be a street guy.
He wasn't supposed to be a street guy.
He was no. I know. But look what he got.
Yeah.
The bottom line there is he needed one of them women. That's where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Even though he wasn't a street guy, he was the boss of the fucking family.
Here's the thing. You're right, though. But if he stayed, here's the thing, dude. Check it out. If he married a girl inside that culture, he couldn't live the white picket American life. If he married a girl outside the culture, he can't bring her into the life. The guy's conflicted. It's a mess for him.
Yeah.
He can't win either way because he wasn't supposed to be in that life. You know what I mean?
As soon as I opened my mouth, I swear I haven't said nothing this whole show. That was the reason why.
So that's the situation. He was stuck in a lot of ways, man. He had a lot on his shoulders.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
I don't know.
But good conversation. Good way to pick it apart for all of us.
No, and listen, then this is the whole purpose of it, right? We're diving deeper into it and pulling it apart to try to get to the meanings underlying everything. And I think we kind of hit it here. This is it. I mean, this is the downfall of Michael is really Kay. It really is.
It's true.
It's just, yeah, but it really is.
But not through a fault of his own. It was the situation.
I mean, Gianni, it's true. I know you get it. I mean, I guess you got to live it to get it. No, I know you got to be one of us, live it to get it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've seen it just ain't me. I mean, I've seen it.
Yeah, me too.
I'm part of that life. I know. I've seen it. I've seen, 75% of the marriages gone shit.
Yeah.
I've seen another 25, they get divorced after 20, 30 years. They get sick of it, But if it ain't clicking in that same culture, you're done. Yeah. I think. I just, as far as a man and a woman.
It's true.
No, I think you're right. I think they would have to, like, either Michael would have to commit to the Protestant culture or the Anglo culture, or she would have to completely commit to the Italian culture, and neither of those was going to happen. That just wasn't going to happen. I mean, it sounds like she tries to commit to it at the beginning. She tries to commit to it, and even
tries to.
And in the book, you see more of that. Like in the book, there's a lot more focus on how close she is with the sister and the mother. Like it's a lot different in that. Like the whole Godfather 2 stuff, where she changes, doesn't exist in the book at all. So it's really a creation of scripting of the scripts, and but it lends to an amazing story. It certainly does, because without it, he would be another Vito. Without that, he would be another Vito, right? He would just be another repeat of Vito, right? He had to be his own person.
Absolutely.
I haven't been watching the chat much, but
no.
I don't know. Primo's talking about something about $30,000. I don't know what's going on there. $30,000 from the church. I don't know what happened there. But anyway, so I think we're going to end there from a scene perspective. The only other scene is really because at this particular time when he is talking to the mother, like that's a very short scene, and there's also a very short scene where they give you a taste of what's going on with the hearings. And it's when Cheech with Willie Chichi is there, and it's a very short scene. It's Willie being questioned, and he uses the buffer. There were a lot of buffers in the family, that type of thing. So that scene happens, and really is that Senator Geary is solidly owned by the Corleones. Just another example of him being solidly owned by the Corleones, because we know what happened. He got blackmailed into doing that. But his efforts in that hearing start with him he brings up the whole that you never spoke to Michael Corleone. Like that was his goal, was to separate Chichi from a direct link to Michael, and he does that in the hearings. So he's actively working for the Corleones in that hearing. and then it's going to switch back to the other scene in the 1920s, which we'll talk about next time. But I think this was a good discussion. We went through a lot of deep angles in this part of the story.
It was good.
And,
all right.
Yeah. So so I think this was a good time. And just before we end, I just want to plug that Tommy's going to be live for New Year's Eve. So tune in to him tonight.
Yeah.
You're still doing that, right? I saw the
absolutely.
Thumbs up. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So tune in to him tonight. If you're not out, I mean, I'm not a New Year's Eve guy, so I never go out ever. That's not my thing.
No.
But yeah, like the whole ball dropping thing, not me. So so I'll be stopping by.
All right, sounds good.
Doing nothing, and but I do want to wish everyone a very happy New Year. 2023 was a blast from a YouTube perspective. There was some, it was fun with our little crew, and I think 2024 is going to be better. I mean, at least I hope it is. That's the goal. Make it better.
We had fun. We had a good time. We started this when in August. We started this in the summer, June.
Yeah. Yep.
Do you guys remember what was it? June? I think. Do you remember? I don't know.
We started definitely this over a year and a half ago.
No,
he's talking about the Godfather shows.
Oh,
this Godfather.
Yeah.
This.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it was definitely warm out. I remember it being hot out.
Yeah.
So it was definitely June, sometime like that.
Yeah. All right, this was good. We did good today. We really broke it down pretty good, the three of us. I think we had a good mix on it. Good different perspectives.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So everyone who joined, I want to say thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you we didn't engage too much with the chat this time, but you guys were talking to each other, which is just as good. So, but thank you for spending some time with us and listening to our take on things. And as always, we appreciate you. So, I just want to say, press the like button if you want. Press the like button, and we'll see you in the new year. So, God bless and thank you for joining.
See you guys later. All right, go ahead.